What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday night to you and yours. This is Chips and Dish, and it is the 1 year anniversary of this absolute ridiculous show that people have been tuning into for 365 gosh darn days. I am Chip. I hope after a year you would know that. But it's cool if you don't, because I like new people too. Jason Voorhees, what's up? Goats are everywhere. What's up? We got Adam hopping in, Don and Rich and Chip. Oh yeah, we had people here. I brought my friends to the party. I brought my friends to my birthday party. So we got from Drunk on Broad, two of the co-hosts. We have Rich at Dickie C 620 and Don at Mr. Seaway Science, which is so much more nicer.
He's totally not a piece of shit. That's the best part.
Listen, it has slowly devolved from the teacher Twitter that I started it with to something on a completely different level.
Well, it's funny because I started Twitter years and years and years ago, and it's always kind of revolved around the band stuff. And then I, moved it to @ChipTeachesKids or something like that. But I created a second Twitter so I could literally yell at sports, and that's become my main source of twittering.
Twitter.
So yeah, twittering. That's the official.
I believe they call that tweeting.
Tweeting.
And in the past tense,
twatting.
I knew out of all of us that Rich would be the one that says it. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in over the last year. I mean, I joined the All About the Birds team a little bit after they had already started. Hopped on, started doing live shows, and was given the opportunity to do a show every Monday night. And it has been so much fun. I've met some incredible people, including, I already knew Don because I teach with a guy, but all of the guys from Drunk on Broad. I've met so many great people, the vet alumni, the backup podcast. The list is literally too long, and I've developed this awesome little group of people that we all talk, and it's really cool. So, and I've Adam who comes out to the shows and he comments on everything, and Jason. It's really been so rewarding. Yes, Matt, I am rocking the Soul jersey, which if you go all the way to the way back, this was the first jersey that I wore on the very first episode of Chips and Dish. So I literally haven't worn this jersey in a year. I found out there's a taco stain right there. So that's nice.
It's loved.
It is loved. So again, listen, I thank everyone for tuning in. It's awesome.
The community of this sports podcasting thing has been incredible. And listen, you were my avenue into this, and have me on and let me start to build some of those relationships, and that's how came across doing a show just like this with Rich, and it just started a conversation. But this community has been incredible. So if you're out there and you have an inkling to let your voice be heard, whether it's sports or whatever you want to talk about. I'm sure.
Well, I think that's what's so cool about this show is we've done some really cool topics. Yes, we all we've spent 365 days complaining about the Eagles and Ben Simmons and trying to get me up to speed on the Flyers, bitching about the Phillies. Like we've spent that time, but we've done some really cool other shows. Like my very favorite show is we spent an entire hour and a half talking about racism in sports. I mean, the fact that I have this avenue to talk about things and people that actually listen, nothing beats that. So again, I appreciate all of success that you have allowed me to have. And you know, it's going to keep growing from here. I'm not going anywhere, people. Monday nights this is what I do. Richie, how you doing there, buddy? They let you escape from Santa's workshop there? You're looking all elf-like.
I know. Well, I just cut the beard off. So
did you?
The beard,
I mean, it's November. What are you doing? It's what are you doing? It's November, bro.
Well, yeah, yours is actually a little longer than mine. But we lost our softball championship yesterday, so the beard died.
Oh no.
Yeah, so let that go. Yeah. Well, Nick was out, so that kind of hurt.
Got to give a brother a call, man. You're looking at a great first baseman.
Bro, I could have used anybody on Sunday. We just got hurt, man. We got hurt. Just I don't know what happened. Just hurt. But
Manny's been on the show. Jason's been on the show. Wait, hold on. I want to put this comment out. I'm putting this comment up. The trial of Aaron Nola. That's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
That was a good episode.
When Jason was like, "Oh yeah, Aaron Nola's an ace," I'm like, "Nah, he's not." And then the season happened, and I was like,
"No,
all season long, nah."
One of my favorite episodes was the well, it's not my favorite. My least favorite episode was the episode of Drunk on Broad where we did the great debate, but that's how we met Don. So this is like the good part of like the podcasting world. Like you said, like, yo, my boy Don will do it. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I put out the feeler and Don's like, I'm down. Like I'll hop on shows and I'm like, fuck it. All right, what do we have to lose? We need somebody else to talk. And I'm like, Don, that's something right there. Sorry. But Don was like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, all right, this is great. I found Don because of that show, which was one of my highly anticipated shows that I was looking so forward to. And it was just hot dog shit. And I'm like, wow. It
was the I think you put the emphasis on of drunk on Broad.
Yeah, that was I got shitty. I got drunk a lot on our episodes, but never got that drunk. And I'll never get that drunk, and that's for those reasons. So I'm excited to be here, Chip. Happy 1 year.
Yeah, man.
It's a huge milestone, especially.
It's cool.
It's just cool, dude. Like you got something going on. You got something that has a following that people are tuned in and listen to and interact. I mean, the best part of your show, besides, the weekly picks now, is your interactions with your fans and what they bring to the table. And I think that is what podcasters is like. What we're looking for is that interaction. I know that's what we feed off the most on our show. And then on your show, you can run 10 minutes off of a comment.
Yeah.
Which is pretty dope because a lot of people just be like, oh, I'll just skim through. I'll just say it. But it's like, yo, this is what makes shows stand out and why people enjoy your show so much.
Well, I think
having the success.
I think what it is for me is, and again, remember, I was involved in the cover band world for 13 years. So it was, I would show up and I would sing other people's songs. And I worked with so many people, who take it really seriously and they go, oh, well, I wrote this song. No, dude, you did not write American Girl. Stop it, sir. Stop it, sir.
That, sir, does not belong to you.
This does not belong to you. Yeah, but you know what? The way we play it, man, it's revolutionary. It's like the greatest.
Talking to Tom Petty.
Like when I hear it on the radio, like I just think, man, Tom Petty's so jealous of how we play it. No, they're not. As he's rolling around in his millions and millions of dollars of marijuana, right? It just so I have always had the mentality of like, if somebody is going to be generous enough to tune into what I do, like I want to have an interaction, and that's where like I'll bullshit with Matt, just him putting comments up like, oh, the Flyers are playing, but don't worry, it's a Monday night, like we're good, like. So the one time that, the Phillies or the Eagles lost, it's like, yo, it was actually Matt's fault. It's not like we have that interaction and it's so much fun for me. Because again, we started this when we were in the middle of a quarantine. So we were kind of trapped in these boxes. And now that we're, pulling pulling a Mr. Brightside and coming out of our cage, and we're feeling just fine. See, tie into the cover band world there.
Yes.
Sorry, that was a killer. That was a killer's joke. So
you really killed it.
It's so cool to continue it. And look, Monday nights, it's not. You know what, Matt? It is your fault, sir. I see your comment. Intern Paul, put that up. Put up that comment. Yes, it is your fault, sir.
Chip, the fact that you were able to take those, and that has now become a shtick in your show, and like that to me is everything you want out of all of this, which is that, like we were saying, like, you know, Rich and I had a really kind of heart to heart about our show and where to take it, and talking a lot about how important that interaction is huge. So, you know, for anybody that's out there that, you know, tune in, check it out. Like you're missing the best of the original content on platforms like this.
And Twitter's killing us because they are.
Oh my God.
Like that shit is so annoying because we have, like, I go back and watch the videos and I see, I know. I have to start making a banner.
You notice what's not up there.
Yeah.
You notice what's not up. Wait, I have another one. Hold on.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. And as much as I hate Facebook, I mean, that's where I need to
And like
start.
I want the comments because I do enjoy riffing with the people, and you know, I've had the open shows, and I appreciate the things you're saying, but I kind of just do I just kind of do what I do, and if people like it, great, and if they don't, that's okay too. But I don't consider myself an expert at it. It's just I'm here talking sports because I have the microphone and you don't. So you will listen to every damn word I have to say. Sir, one more outburst from you, and I was trying to use my microphone wire. So again, it's a lot of fun. I appreciate it. And I, you know, shout out to Jeff and Johnny, and now Mike as a co-host as well. Like these guys they're A-list guys. They're really great dudes. And what we've built here at AAT Birds and AAT Sports Network, we've got some awesome sponsorships. We will be debuting the brand new Manscaped commercial. Now, I will preface this, and this is like 45 minutes away, so make sure you're tuning in. Manscaped did not send us a new script, right? So Manscaped is always the one that sends us a script, and then I record the videos, and I record it with word for word what they say. Manscaped didn't send us a script, so I went, I'm going to write one. So the script that you will hear is a All About the Birds Chip Keggy original Manscaped commercial. It is.
Listen, I got the chance to see the first scratch version of this one. You are gonna want to hear this. Just stay for as long.
Yeah,
as
Adam. It's good.
It's gonna be fun.
So anyway, cheers to you, fine gentlemen. As I'm drinking the Rockies tonight.
I'm drinking this terrible Bud Light seltzer that was in my fridge because all my beers are like 9%.
Oh, Bud Light seltz.
Probably the worst thing I've ever drank. But cheers.
I picked up my holiday beer this weekend.
So did I, but I'm not. I can't crack it open.
I can't
right
do
now.
it. Mad Elf.
You can't crack open a Jingle Brew.
It'll be terrible. I did the whole Mad Elf on the live stream that we did the one day watching the Eagles Seahawks last year.
How'd that go for you?
Yeah. 3 Mad Elves and 2 8% beers. I was like blacked out toward the end, and I'm so glad it wasn't recorded and it was just on Twitch. Because I think I was like literally sleeping and then like sulking, and I think I cried. So I'm glad. If you find that, anybody, just email me.
All right. So let's. I know what you guys have been kind of talking about a lot. So right away, and I know Adam Mack is up in here. So I want to start with college football.
Oh, let's go.
Ooh, something that we don't talk about enough on any of our shows because it's not a main four. Can Cincinnati not get any love?
They're not going to.
They're not
going
to.
Not going to.
No.
They could do everything. They're not going to get love. Like they're just not. Their pockets aren't deep enough.
But they're undefeated.
But they're not.
What I'm saying, like they're undefeated though.
Chip,
I'll tell you what. Adam,
quote
I'm
the famous poet,
hold on,
The
Adam. I'm
Rock.
going to drop the link to the show because you know what? Adam does a great college football show. If Adam, if you're available to pop on, cool. If not, I understand that too. But I'm going to drop it in for you. Sorry, go ahead, guys.
Chip, if I can quote the famous poet, The Rock, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anything. That's like Cincinnati could run the table and blow everybody out. It doesn't matter because they're never going to play the caliber of talent that you play in the SEC. And listen, you're not playing the same teams that you're playing in the Big Ten. If Cincinnati played a Big Ten schedule or an SEC schedule or a Pac-10 schedule
So explain to me Notre Dame.
No, don't even. No.
No. They're not, Chip.
Notre Dame is beyond S. And the whole problem with Notre Dame is
number 6.
Yeah, they're number 6, but they literally don't play anyone. And they get high rankings because of their name. That's it.
But that's my point. Cincinnati. So look, even
the program outweighs them.
A 2-loss Cincinnati team or a 2-loss Notre Dame team would get the bowl bid over the undefeated Cincinnati team.
Yes, they would.
Every time because they're Notre Dame. Because they know that people will tune in and they know that people will travel. Cincinnati people will barely tune in and they will not travel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have Carson Wentz doppelganger, Adam Mack, up in here.
Uncanny.
A couple weeks ago, I did Adam's show.
He sounds like a robot.
Yeah, I don't know if Adam has a Wi-Fi signal out there in Colorado.
Oh,
you went a little creakety crackety on us there, and you also haven't blinked in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, blink for me.
Blink if you're in danger, Adam.
This Colorado environment, man, it's dangerous.
It is. Well, and this is something I was going to bring up. You do understand that the only reason why Jalen Hurts had a good game yesterday was because of the Colorado altitude. I read that take somewhere.
I mean, if that's what people want to talk about Jalen Hurts, because all the negativity that, he's a horrible quarterback, if that's what they want to say, you know what?
God.
Move the franchise to Denver so we can win every year.
So yeah, a couple weeks ago I did Adam's college football show, and it was awesome because I don't talk about college football enough. So I had to do a little bit of research, and I basically had to do a pick'em, much like my wife does her pick'em, where I was like, I don't like Nick Saban's bow tie. He gonna lose, and then he didn't. How did I do that week, Adam? Did I do pretty well on my picks?
I don't know. We kind of went off script, and at one point we're arguing Tennessee fans instead of actually talking about the game.
Sure. Seems like something that would happen when I go to a show and wreck it.
I don't even remember. I don't know what my record is each year. I feel like it's so bad I don't even want to keep track.
It's fine because we discovered that on Thursdays we were blue. It's cool.
I got my blue on tonight for you.
I appreciate. See, you're full of soul. So a couple weeks ago, Adam, you were a big supporter of Cincinnati, and here they are sitting at 10-0, ranked number 3. Alabama has jumped over them simply because they're Alabama and they play in the SEC. Oregon is right on their tail. Ohio State's at 5. I think Ohio State should be higher because they are playing an insane football right now, and I hate Ohio State.
We all do.
But all the way down to 15 is UTSA at 10-0. I am of the belief that if you are undefeated, you deserve to play a real championship game.
No. Okay, hold on, Chip.
I support Hawaii and Colt Brennan, rest in peace.
No,
come on. We're talking about Texas San Antonio.
Yeah.
We might as well be talking about the banana slugs.
Whoa.
I love that team though.
I'm rooting for UTSA only because they're in the same conference as Marshall, and we've already shot ourselves in the foot enough this season. So I know we're not going to play them in a conference championship game. I got to support the conference since, in 2 years that Conference USA is going to be nothing.
Well, all right. So that was my question,
Yeah.
Adam. Is teams like UTSA and teams like Cincinnati, we know that there's about to be all this moving and shaking with college football. Do these teams, are they going to get more of a shot or lose out on even? Are they going to fall even lower in the rankings when all of this moving and shaking happens?
See, it's hard to think about, especially for the group of 5. Like right now, I think Cincinnati, UTSA are on 2 different levels. Like UTSA is just a Cinderella run in my opinions, but Cincinnati is a dominant team in college football. Right. There's a reason they're going to the Big 12 in 4 or 5 years, even if Texas and Alabama didn't make that jump to the SEC. Eventually, Cincinnati was going to get brought in if it was not the Big 12, Big 10, ACC, Pac-12, because they don't really care about the name of the conference and how that lines up. But I think you'll see Cincinnati continue to not get the disrespect, but you'll see UTSA slowly start to climb those rankings. That'll be the committee's way of throwing the G5 a bone. Like, oh, yeah, we'll fuck Cincinnati over, but we'll give UTSA a bone and give them the 12th ranking in the country or whatever dumb thing they'll do.
Rich, you look like you have a thought there. There was a full-on lean back and eyebrow raise. Like if you stayed close, your eyebrow was going to break the camera.
Yeah, it's just college football is just, dude. Only thing I'm thinking in my head is Michigan being overhyped when they lost to Michigan State. Didn't play a top 60 offense all year, and were ranked number 5 when they lost.
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking?
Yeah, that was a really good matchup.
Like, dude,
number wise,
I get it's a good matchup, but
number wise,
Harbaugh is a fucking he's terrible. Michigan is fucking terrible. I'm sick of seeing Michigan. I'm sick of seeing all these teams like crammed in the top 10 who've played like no one, and then they're undefeated at a certain point.
Alabama this week jumps over Cincinnati, and they beat a nobody. They beat half of a nobody this week.
Yeah,
and they beat the shit out of them.
But my problem with I love Cincinnati as a team. Do I want them to be in the top 4? Yes, but will the committee let them be? No. Is anybody beating Georgia? No.
Well, so here's my question then. Here's my question, because right now, if the season were to end today, it'd be Georgia at 1, Alabama 2, Cincinnati 3, Oregon 4, Ohio State 5. Okay.
You're also forgetting about one big thing. You're looking at the AP rankings, which mean nothing from here on out.
Yeah.
True story.
Because granted,
true story.
The only thing that matters is that the rankings that get released on Monday.
Yeah,
like those rank or was it Sunday?
Tuesday.
Sunday. I was bound to get the day right. Right, but when those playoff
it ends in Y.
All right. So wait. So let me ask this. Right, you obviously have to have an SEC title game.
Yeah,
Georgia and Alabama, only one of those two teams can make the playoff, right? Like if Georgia were to lose, are they going to drop to 4 and stay in?
Well, there's no automatic bid.
Yeah,
right. They'll play that conference championship game, but there's no guarantee that they wouldn't take, an Alabama team that lost in the conference championship. They could still take them.
Yeah.
But but here's my scenario, right? And again, I'm using the AP. Georgia, we'll say they lose to Alabama in the conference championship. The next week or a couple weeks later, Alabama at 1 plays Georgia at 4 again.
Okay, and then Georgia spanks them.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't so good.
I don't see Georgia losing, but
I don't foresee a scenario in which Georgia.
They don't even have a quarterback. Like literally, one of us could be out there, and they'd still win. Like it's ridiculous. Oh my god!
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well,
speaking of things I don't like,
I got a question for you. Because of Kansas, the big upset on Texas. Is Steve Sarkisian out? Is he going to be out? You think they're going to keep him?
You got to give him more than 1 year. I mean,
even when they move to the here's my thing. Why are you thinking Texas and Oklahoma, and they really think that they compete when they are going to go to the SEC where they actually play defense?
No.
That's the worst thing that those Texas is having a hard time recruiting anyway.
Right.
So,
but it's all about
literally going to move these two teams. But they're going to be so ass. I can't wait. I'm actually super excited for it. Because I can't wait to see everybody who's like, Oklahoma's really good. It's like,
No, they're not.
No, they don't play defense. Wait till they
Oklahoma also they still don't have an answer at quarterback. And Johnny's comment was where we were going next. Penn State has had just a bit of a down year.
I don't talk about touch you.
Have you talked to Johnny at all? Every Saturday, I get 100 texts from him about how much he hates Penn State.
With Penn State having a down year and every single year losing to Ohio State, losing to Michigan, and having a couple other losses sprinkled in here and there that are just not great. Does Penn State have to move on from James Franklin, or are they okay with being just a middle-of-the-road team?
Listen, as long as they're relevant, I think they're okay.
They're always going to be relevant. They play in the Big Ten.
Right. Mm-hmm. That being said, the one thing I was going to ask Adam was those big programs that are going to be looking for coaches, LSU, USC, maybe Florida. Yeah, I saw an article today. Maybe the coach of Florida might be out. There's going to be some big time programs that are going to be looking for.
There's a lot of big programs,
and especially
I saw Riley and maybe LSU. They heard he's going to get some offers. Lincoln Riley
could be.
He's going to get an offer from every school.
Yeah.
But honestly, Franklin would be a guy that could go to one of those big programs because he can recruit.
Oh yeah.
So you could see him going out to USC or going down to LSU and being able to, because those programs are above Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
In terms
Most
of relevancy.
programs are. That's what's annoying.
In terms of relevancy. So kids identify those programs because they see them on Saturday. They see them in prime time. I could see him jumping ship to one of those schools. That would be the only way that I would see Franklin leaving. Because he can't, coming from, Vanderbilt was a step up. From Vanderbilt to Penn State was a step up. But I think from Penn State to USC or LSU or Florida, I could see that.
And I think Franklin did a good job steadying the ship. You know what I mean? I think he did a good job steadying the ship because – as Rich already said, he still holds that animosity towards Penn State University.
Mm-hmm.
So with everything that was going down, James Franklin was the right guy at the time. But much like, the Brett Brown situation, yes, he was the right guy at the time. But is he the right guy moving forward? I don't think he is. I think he makes a lot of bad choices in key moments. And to that point, you cannot be a major college football coach and continue to make the same mistakes over. It's not like the pros where, you've got the best players in the world. These are the guys that you recruited, you brought here. If they're not executing, it is on you.
Well, that's where he is a great CEO. He's a great recruiter. He can go into any living room and sell any kid on any program. But game day coaching, he's not.
Right.
It lacks severely. For me, I watch Penn State and I look at why is Sean Clifford still on the field?
Because their alternative is so much worse.
Yeah.
But
one thing about Penn State is when they fired Paterno, they were looking for coaches. James Franklin was their guy. They wanted to bring him in. They had Joe Paterno, who's there for 50 plus years. They were expecting a coach like that. They decided to bring in an NFL guy to address the media, knowing he will leave to go back to the NFL. Bill O'Brien does that. They can hire James Franklin. He was the right coach at the time. He was able to reunite the campus, the state, get people hyped back up on Penn State football, and he was able to bring the talent in. But the one other area that he's really struggled in the last few years is he has had some great assistant coaches. Great.
Right.
3 of them have become – 2 of them are current head coaches. One was a former head coach, now the offensive coordinator of one of the top 5 teams in the country.
Mm-hmm.
His coaching staff is not as strong as it was before, and it's showing because he was able to hide his inconsistencies and his lack of being a top-tier head coach behind his offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. Now, Joe Moorhead was a phenomenal offensive coordinator at Penn State. Made Trace McSorley look like a top-tier quarterback. Saquon Barkley is one of the best and electric players we've ever seen in college football. He doesn't have those coaches right now. Granted, the defense is phenomenal. Brent Pry is someone he can hide that amazing his bad defensive coaching behind because Brent Pry's on his way to becoming a head coach in college football. His big struggles are on offense. He hasn't had a good offensive coordinator since Ricky Ron left for Old Dominion 2 years ago. So he goes to a school like USC where there's not real much competition besides Oregon. You're competing with one other school. Brings in good coordinators, people with experience. Yeah. I mean, he's going to be able to hide his inconsistencies there, but like you guys said, the head coach of a college football team is the CEO. They're the face of the program. They bring the players in.
That's why they make so much money. I mean, they make stupid amounts of money now.
Highest state employees. They're your highest paid state.
Yep.
There you go. Speaking to a couple state employees, I don't approve.
I manage it.
I'm not a fan of that. That's some baby bag bullshit.
Your taxes are paying for his. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I like James Franklin, the guy. I think as the head football coach of Penn State, he's not it. And I do think, depending on how they finish out the season, he could get fired. But I think he'll get one more year because, it's Penn State. Like, Penn State is known. Penn State's known for their loyalty a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's a great transition sound. That's a great transition sound.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Adam, I know I don't know if it's your dinner time or your breakfast time. I know you're out in the mountains. So I don't want to. I kind of threw you on. So is there anything you want to plug before you can choose to stay or go?
I do actually have to go because it's not dinner time.
I knew it.
But I do. I think I hopped on a little bit after you got done talking about Cincinnati. In my last week's show, my college football show, we had a guy named Keith Morehouse on, big guy in the Marshall community. But we also talked a little bit about Cincinnati. And, Chip, you mentioned earlier the AP polls. If you look at the AP polls at the start of the year and how many teams from the American Conference were in it, and then you get it to the playoff committee. The playoff committee goes, you only have one win against a ranked team. Because the playoff committee only decided to rank one team from the American. So all those non-ranked wins, we don't want to pay attention to them.
It's a circle.
Circle of life.
It's a circle.
A circle.
So that is that's
square.
It has three parts.
Well, but Adam, you would agree that it's set up that way, right?
Yep.
It's set up that way so that you filter those teams that are going to be high-profile teams into the top 10, into the top 15, into the top 5, so that you can until you truly just get rid of the numbers and just let everybody play everybody. It's going to be this, and I would venture to say, like in the next 5 years, 6 years, you might see like all those little conferences are all going to get eaten up. You're going to have like 6 major conferences.
Look at Conference USA this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Conference USA is kind of
nothing.
Yeah.
So that's all. I'm glad that we got to spend like half an hour talking about college football because that has never happened on this show. But it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Untapped market.
So there you go. Adam, enjoy your brinner or your brunch or whatever it is that you guys are out there on Mountain Time.
It's still lunchtime, man. What are you talking about? All right. I'll catch you guys later.
See you, buddy. Speaking of the mountains, right? The Eagles just went up into the mountains and laideth the smacketh down. Right? That was a great game. Let's do one of these to that game. All right, now. So that was a great game. I enjoy that. Hey.
It was fun. I'll tell you what, it was fun to watch. Like we've always kind of like, and I know Chip, you guys have talked about it a lot too. Like we have, like this was a very like see what you have year. And yes. I think the thing that, and that's hard. It's hard to kind of keep that course where you try not to get too high, try not to get too low, but it's it's very hard to not go like 100% fanboy. But I think what I saw in the last couple weeks is I've seen progress. Like you've seen, like I went back to today and watched some of the highlights from the Chiefs game and the 49ers game.
Mm-hmm.
and then go back and watch the Broncos game. It's a completely different quarterback.
It's a different team. Well,
Yeah,
that's because of the altitude. We discussed this, right? The altitude in Denver is what allowed Jalen Hurts to have. I saw that take today, and I wanted to reach. Yeah,
yeah, dude, that dude's a fucking clown.
That was the. So, for those of you who are not aware of what we're talking about, there was a hot take on Twitter, a hot take that said the reason why Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball so well yesterday was because of the altitude in Denver. Let's pause for the end of mankind as we know it.
For the
Play
clickbait
tabs.
hot take.
Let's just play tabs.
Wouldn't be the first time we've played tabs, Richard, right?
You know what? So I watched this game yesterday. And Jason, that's exactly it, right? I watched this game yesterday, and it was the most complete game that I saw. So this past week, I was on an absolute warpath about Jonathan Gannon because he wasn't doing what he needed to do.
He's still not
all wrong. He's still not. But his team stepped up yesterday. Now, consistency is a big question. Sirianni has shown that he consistently can commit to the run game, right? Ray Didinger was just on saying how we have the best run blocking offensive line in football, which I agree.
Team in football now. Number one rushing team in football.
And we're the number one rushing team in football. My favorite was a week ago, though, them going, oh, yeah, their identity is a running team. I'm like, you just know nothing about this team, right? Because it was when CBS was covering the game. This we had tight end JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
My man. He got hurt, man. He got hurt because he doesn't expect to play. So happens when you're on stretch.
But
he's like, wait, what do I do here?
Yeah, wait, I'm supposed to do this. Oh, I know how to do this. But no, like you said, dude, and Don said, it's improvement and it's progress.
That's it.
I shit on Jalen Hurts. I am not a fan. I could still tell you I'm not a fan, but that's fine. It's who I am. It's from what I watched in college. Like I don't go off just his pro tape because there's not enough of it. But it's amazing. But it's amazing when you don't make this guy throw 40 times a game. It's amazing when he throws the ball 17 to 20 times, and he can be efficient. He can be a game manager, and you use 3 backs precisely. You use Jordan Howard when you need him to, who Jason said has been a godsend. Very true, Jason. He's been so good. Now, when you get Miles back this week, use him. Use him correctly. He's your most explosive back. I want to see him brought into this offense, this new and improved offense, and watch him feast and watch him be the player that we know him to be.
Because you can't deny that he was neglected his first couple weeks. And then eventually
Neglected is nice, Chip, because he was an afterthought in this offense that wanted to establish the identity of being an air raid team with one wide receiver.
It's a 1-year celebration show. We're going to say nice words. Okay. He was neglected.
I mean, not for nothing, but he was on a milk carton. You couldn't find him if you tried.
5 touches in 2 weeks.
Why'd you have to go Lost Boys on him? That's messed up, man. Peter Pan couldn't find him. He was such a Lost Boy.
The fact that they were able to, that they've in the last couple of weeks been able to establish the fact that they can be successful if they establish the run and if they put Hurts under center, and then that makes that play action or that RPO actually be believable, which then opens up a slant that they've now magically found in the playbook, and they started to implement those things. For me, I look at it and say, I don't know what else to do.
Right. And going to Matt's comment here, intern Paul, way to be on it. It's like you knew I was about to do.
I like this intern. We need one.
Intern Paul, man. What's up? Intern Paul up in the green room. One thing that we have to be careful of is when Miles Sanders comes back, you cannot go backwards. So look at the things that Miles Sanders does well. Miles Sanders does not catch the ball well. He doesn't. So that's where you keep a guy like Kenny Gainwell as your third option. I think Boston Scott, unfortunately, moves to more of a special teams and emergency back situation because
I think it's the
You're-
opposite. I think Gainwell.
I think that. Yeah, I think that's.
well, Gainwell goes as a passing back anyway.
yeah, but
Gainwell's been a
Gainwell
passing back.
I don't know what happened, but it seems like he fell out of favor.
Because they moved away from a passing offense. Gainwell is a passing back.
Yeah.
So you still need that passing back. And yes, Boston Scott can do it. But the problem is that you cannot just all of a sudden throw in 20 more carries a game for Miles Sanders. So Boston Scott's 15 carries, that number is going to drop down to like 5 or 6. Miles Sanders should get the bulk of the carries at this point. Boston Scott will be reduced to a special teams situation. Because think about it, how are they using Boston Scott? They're still running him directly into the line, but off tackle. That's what Miles Sanders does really well. So it's just going to be a bigger back. Boston Scott is not good at running into the line. He does it, but he's not great at it. Miles Sanders will do better at that.
Yes. Agreed. I mean,
you have to, because you also have to still give Jalen Hurts his thick 16 to 17 carries a game.
So here's what I want to bring up, because this is what I kind of feel bad for Broncos fans. Imagine if that Broncos offense had a competent quarterback. Good Lord. They have like 7 weapons. Their running back room is ridiculous. Their tight end group.
Their tight end room is ridiculous.
Then you have Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy. And Teddy Bridgewater, I think, was 1 of 4 for -2 yards in the first quarter yesterday.
It
wasn't great.
Dude, it just makes me laugh because people are trying to like give Gannon credit. It's like, I'm not giving Gannon credit for the touchdown. Like, that was punched out by Davion Taylor, and it was scooped and recovered for 136 total yards by Darius Slay. Great fucking play. It was awesome. Slay's been playing out of his mind.
Did you see?
Has been good, but the personnel I think is kind of outweighing the coaching.
Yeah,
right now,
I agree.
Which I find is very strange, because I don't think their personnel is strong, but I think that they are outweighing the coach's flaws. They're still playing back off guys, but Teddy Bridgewater can't complete a pass to me. So that's very tough. I watched that game in its entirety after. Like, I watched parts of it, and then I watched it. I'm like, dude, Gannon's still playing off. Gannon's still not blitzing. Like,
it just wasn't a good offensive game for the Broncos.
No, it was just a terrible.
It
but they were
wasn't
still running wherever they wanted to. But
it wasn't that it was a good defensive game. It wasn't that it was a good defensive game. It was that it was a bad offensive game for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could see why Denver in the offseason was trying to make a move to bring in like a Deshaun Watson. Like they were in the Deshaun Watson conversation. I'm sure they'll be in the Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson conversation. Listen, those names are going to come up, but Denver, for the reasons you brought up,
right?
The amount
Denver
of weapons that they have,
Denver needs that Stafford switch type of thing where Stafford came into the Rams. Now he's laying a dud tonight.
He looks bad.
He looks real bad.
They just got the ball back with 51 seconds left in the third quarter and just punted it, and now it's about to be the start of the fourth.
Yeah, it's not great. By the way, can we just talk about how isolated comments, right? If we weren't on a podcast talking about football, can we just talk about isolated comments because I'm an immature child?
I'm not prepared to
That's dirty.
Jason, I'm proud of you, bud.
Jason, that's dirty.
I'm not
Read that again, Jason.
You got no marbles.
Oh my God, he did that dance, right? I put that comment out there. I was like, wait a second. Did he just do the Major League 2 Huevos dance? Yes, he did. And it made me giggle. And Jason appreciates the
such a good dude. Such a good
Jason's a great guy. I've had him on. You know, I love Jason. I love. And again, this kind of goes back. The people that we get to talk to, it makes my heart very happy, makes my heart very full. But yeah, I mean, this Eagles team yesterday, they came in and it was an overall team win. Every single facet of the team played well, which if you start having more of that, all right, ready to blow it out of proportion, gentlemen?
Yes.
Are the Philadelphia Eagles in 2021-2022 a playoff contender?
If they keep playing the way
playoffs,
if they keep playing the way they're playing and stick to their identity of now being a running team, Yes, I think so
Well-
because they're actually controlling the clock. They're controlling the game, and it takes a little bit of pressure off of Hurts. My only thing is if there are like early turnovers and they're down big, I worry. But with their upcoming schedule, I don't worry about that. I thought Washington was going to be way better, but now they just lost whatchamacallit.
Chase Young. Well, Washington's biggest selling point was their defense, and their defense has not played well.
They played well against Tom Brady, but Tyler Heineke like kind of owns Tom Brady. He almost beat him last year in the playoffs. Like he plays
So
really well
weird.
against Tampa Bay, but he sucks against everybody else. I think he just wants to go up against the GOAT. He's the GOAT of the GOAT. So I think that's really it. But their
All
defense
right.
kept it up coming off a bye. Antonio Gibson actually got – it's amazing when you give your best offensive player the ball
When
24
you let
times.
your
you see
playmakers
what
play.
It's amazing because the Eagles started doing that. Like, oh, let's give our – well, no, not really because Miles Sanders got hurt. But they're still like, hey, let's give our running backs running behind this great offensive line we have more touches and taking the ball out of our essentially rookie quarterback's hands and see what happens. Great things happen when you give your ball to your playmakers. So
I want to ask you a question.
I'm gonna say
Rich,
yes.
because you mentioned the GOAT of the GOAT, and then Don, I'll take your answer on the playoff question. But Rich, you get to pick one in a one game against Tom Brady. Nick Foles or Taylor Heineke?
I'm going Taylor Heineke.
Really?
Yep. I love the fact that we won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, but Nick Foles couldn't do it again. Nick Foles couldn't.
But he always slaps around Tom Brady.
Yeah, but I'm going Heineke, man, because that kid he's built different. He's just built different.
Yeah,
As much
he's
as I
built
love
like an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, he is. As much as I love Nick Foles for what he did in one season, because other than that, I just completely just write him off.
Ooh.
That's a beautiful piece of artwork.
You had that like way too nearby. I want to point that out.
Yeah, Don.
I want to point out that
Don
this,
can't peel the cover off.
yeah, this
I am literally sitting, as you can tell, in the collection of all the sports stuff that I own because no one allows me to put it in any other room of the house. Literally
I had to do
every
it, John.
sports
I
piece.
had to do it.
that comment made a reappearance, by the way, when for that.
Wait. Okay. So, complete side note before I go back and answer your question.
What's up, Chris?
Did you see? Speaking of D's,
no, I'm not doing it.
Did you see Did you see the T-shirts that are that were being sold outside of the Ben Simmons? The Ben Simmons T-shirts that are being sold on the way out of the Wells Fargo Center.
No,
It was
tell.
Ben Simmons' head on a penis. It was hilarious, and there it was like D head. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so
Yes,
funny.
Ben Simmons is on the apex, and they got everything else.
It's
Are
funny.
they implying that he's getting shafted?
No, I'm playing you.
No, I think they're implying
That was good. That was good. Son of a bitch. I'm
It's
so
a peanuts joke. It's
That was
a
good.
peanuts joke.
one right over my head.
You know what? It was pretty hard to decipher.
That's what she said.
This is
So-
why we can't have nice things, guys. I know that's.
No.
I was listening to JD's show the other night, and he says that a lot. But this is why we can't have nice things.
It really is. It really is.
This is
So,
this
Don,
is
are
why
the
we
Eagles a
can have-
playoff team?
Sure. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Like they will play if they, like Bruce said, if they play the way that they've been playing and they stay consistent to the game plan that is best for them, which is run the ball, don't force Jalen Hurts to make 47 passes, run slants where you can get Devontae Smith the
Yes.
ball in space. For the love of God, keep the ball out of Jalen Rager's zip code. I mean,
You know it's great when I have more rushing yards than an NFL player.
that's the
You know it's bad
There's no
when
way.
Devontae Smith in his first year has already surpassed the career totals of Jalen Reagor.
I don't blame the guy for where he's drafted.
Neither do I. And
No.
we've talked about this on my show before. We've talked about this on all of our shows
He's
before.
not.
He was never a first-round draft pick. That was a bad
No.
pick. That's why you can't blame J.J. Arcega-Whiteside for the same thing. Like he was not a second-round pick, but that's where he was. So he is. Do you punish the guy for where he was picked and not living up to the pick, or do you punish the guy because he just has not shown anything?
I had this argument with me and the guy agreed. I had this conversation with a guy last night, and it was the same thing. I said Reagor is a punt returner at best. Quest is number 2. He's the complement to Devonta Smith. And the guy's like, nah. He's like, but my whole thing is he might be another year away from proper development. It could happen. I mean, look at Nelson Aguilar. It took him fucking 5 years.
Yeah,
to
right.
be relevant. It could
He
happen.
had one good season.
But here's the thing. But Chip, yeah, it could take that one good season for you to make millions of dollars in the NFL because that's what happened to Nelson Aguilar. But with Jalen,
It's what happened to Odell Beckham Jr.
But he had a few. But
He had like 3.
yeah, he had some good years. But with Jalen Reagor, it's not the fact that he might not have it skill wise. It's he can't get over his head. Like he can't get over himself. Like you don't take all your time as a professional athlete to combat people on Twitter, to try to fight people. He's the poster boy for I'm going to make a ginormous post with big letters saying I'm ready, let's go, or whatever his saying is, and then coming out being flat and then having to defend himself. He can't get out of his way mentally on that side of football. Because like you say, football is what? 90% mental, 10% physical? Because you kind of have to know what you're doing at all times. I think he just can't get out of his own way. Maybe he'll be good on another team, but right here in Philly, he probably needs – next year is going to be his 3rd year, and I think that's when he needs to go. And fucking Deebo Samuel. God damn it.
I want to point out that, by the way, even though pick-wise, I am getting my absolute tail kicked in pick-wise this week, right? So my wife and I, we do the weekly pick-off. We moved it to Wednesday nights because she's sleepy. And I like her at her freshest. Not to mention when we do it on Wednesday, we get a little more of the injury. Like we kind of see a little bit more what's going on in the week in the NFL.
Okay.
But she's kicking my ass this week. But you know who's who's not kicking my ass? Don and I are going up against each other in fantasy football this week.
Yes, you guys are.
How bad is it?
Well, if I refresh it, it is currently 173.8 to 87.06.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deebo got you 32 there, Chip.
Yeah.
Jimmy G's got you 21.
Debo, Devontae, Dalvin Cook, Stephon Diggs. I had all of them this week. I even have Jimmy Garoppolo playing.
Yeah.
Guys, I scored 140 points in that league with my quarterbacks combining for a total of – guess how many points my quarterback scored total?
20.
Chip?
I'm
-4. -4 points, and I scored 140 points in that league.
Who'd you have, Russell Wilson?
Mike White and Matt Ryan.
Oof. So originally I had Tom Brady, and Tom Brady was at like -4 points. I'm like, this mother, I swear to God.
Well, Rich, you would think that having Stafford and Rodgers would be a good quarterback combo, right?
I would think it would be.
Right. They combined at this point for 11 points combined.
Don, your wife wants to do picks, so you're going to have to bring your wife on our show, and you guys are going to have to do picks, Don. And I am super excited, 1, to meet your lovely wife, and 2, watch you get spanked.
Next season, I think on top of the Golden Mike League, which we do, I think we need to do a fantasy football league for the hosts and their wives.
Oh, that would be great. That would be fun. I'm in. I'll get Jamie to do it. She'll absolutely hate it.
I know Tila will.
I know that's the problem with Jamie. She gets addicted to like competition.
There she is.
So if I get her in on
so it's funny on
the boss lady chiming in. She's in it to win it.
I love
On
it.
Thursday night this week,
Love
I'm going to go on JD's show, and we're going to do date night with the Deans. Me and Teal are going to go on with him and his wife, and we're going to talk about like competition in a marriage and like fantasy sports and like things like that. And I'm so excited to talk about it because I'm going to be honest, I'm an asshole when it comes to sports. I'm a total Chris, you're exactly right. She would win it, and I'd be a total son of a bitch for it. I'm like, well, their costumes are stupid.
Chip, for your costumes, the boss lady calls them outfits. Like
no, she calls them costumes.
No,
like, she's like costume mentality. I'm like, I hate that. It's true, but I hate it.
Costumes.
I mean,
well, hold on. So, have you not heard this dissertation about why they're called costumes, Rich?
No, I have not. I'm sorry. What episode is it on? And I'll have to go back and watch it.
There's a T-shirt in our shop and everything for it.
I gotta
So,
look.
the logic is that like when Beyonce takes the stage. Oh no, she's in the comment section. Tila is here. Hello. Hello. So when Beyonce this is my couch.
Chip, couch, Chip.
Couch Chip.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Basically, the whole idea of like Beyonce, when she takes the stage, she's Sasha Fierce. Yes, we know it's a pull-out couch. That's the only thing, though.
Couch pulls out.
Thank you. She becomes Sasha Fierce. So it's the same thing. Like you saw Brian Dawkins, like he becomes this other personality when he puts on his uniforms.
Wait, Beyonce becomes somebody else?
She becomes Sasha Fierce.
All right, I don't really want to hear the rest of this explanation. Can we just move on? Because that kind of blew me away with the whole.
Yes.
Now I'm just confused.
She does it better. She does it better.
It's like the first.
I will not call. So wait. So we were what were we watching? We were watching the Goldbergs the other night.
Okay, that's a fun.
I love the Goldbergs. I was late to the party, but we binged the whole thing. And Barry does this whole thing trying to explain to Adam that like the theater is his sports. He's like, you know how you put on your costume? He goes, that's your uniform. And I'm sitting there going, I can't look at my wife right now because this is the whole costume mentality bullshit that she was just going on and off about. Like she goes, you know, the script, that's your playbook. I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. I couldn't look at her. I could not look at her because I just knew she was over there just like cheesing, like,
look away. Look away. Oh, God.
And then I felt the eyes burning in my soul on that one.
I'm never going to get over the Sasha Fierce thing. That thing's that's going to stay with me. That's definitely.
Sasha Fierce.
Learn something new.
There you go. The more you know. But again, so, you know, looking at this Eagles team, yes, I do think that they are a playoff team moving forward as a wild card. And it's different than last season. So last season, it would have been a squeak in where we like just happened to win the NFC East. If we make the playoffs this season, look, Dallas, I think Dallas is going to be the number one seed in the NFC when all shakes out.
Well, you're going to have Dallas. You're going to have Arizona. You're going to have Green Bay. And
Arizona's dropping off quickly until Kyler Murray comes back healthy, and so does Hopkins. Because Colt McCoy is not the answer out there. The Packers, yes, but the Packers are good for getting the number one seed and then losing in the playoffs.
Yes.
But
I think Dallas is the number one seed this season. And I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah, but they could be. But like so you got Dallas. Let's just say Arizona and the Rams, Green Bay and Tampa.
Yes.
This Rams team. This Rams team is not the number one seed.
No, I'm not saying the number one seed, but I'm saying like those are 5 teams you could say are in the playoffs, right?
Right. But my point was that Dallas is the number one seed. It's different because Dallas is going to win the NFC East. If the Eagles make it into the playoffs this season, it's because they earned a wild card. It's not that they just happen to be the last team standing in the NFC East. Yeah. It's different than last season. If they got into the playoffs last season, it's because somebody had to come out of the NFC East, like the football team did last season.
I mean,
I would
we
be
all-
okay with an Eagles playoffs run this time.
I'm telling you right now that it's going to be a team that you do not expect to win the Super Bowl and to win the NFC and the AFC because of how long the season is. It is brutal.
That extra game is going to
Adding
cost
that
problems.
extra game, you see right now that guys cannot stay healthy, and they're big time guys. It is going to be a team that is relatively healthy and
Yep.
gets all their guys. You're going to see guys sitting in week, 15, 16, 17. Guys are going to be rotating to sit.
You're going to see
Because they're
load
going to be
management. There's an
clamoring
NBA
about-
term, load management in the NFL.
Like, it's going to be ridiculous. So I'm not putting it past it. Like, a team who wins the wild card might make it to the NFC Championship.
They could.
The bye is important. The team who finishes one,
We have such a late
very
bye week,
important. I
and the
know.
Eagles have such a late bye week
Was it
this
week
season.
13? It's 13, right?
13 or 14, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
But 14, I believe, is who? Patriots, I think Tennessee, and somebody else, I think. No, Tennessee already had their bye week. But it's so long, dude. It's
Week
so
14.
fucking long. Jason says the Vikings could be a sleeper. I just saw that in the corner. I don't think so because I
No.
really don't.
I think the Vikings have a
They're
ton of
so
offensive
hot and
weapons,
cold.
but they have a ton of offensive weapons, which is great. They still have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback, so there's where you get your hot or cold response.
Yeah.
But their defense is nothing to write home about.
No,
No,
they
not at
play a
all.
lot better. They're more congruent than I thought they were going to be, but I don't see it because Kirk Cousins he's one bad game away, like because it's Kirk Cousins. Like literally,
Yeah.
he's the guy that is going to destroy it. It's not going to be
100%.
anybody else. Kirk Cousins
Instead of just feeding the ball to Dalvin Cook, instead of
he-
making sure that Justin Jefferson gets the ball, 15 to 20 times per game, they're going to do some dumb shit.
Yeah, I'm going to feed KJ Osborne and Tyler Conklin and force the ball to Adam Thielen. It's like, no,
Right.
use your playmakers. Like, stop fucking around.
Right.
Yeah, so the
I mean,
Eagles
we-
have the bye. So they go Eagles, Saints, then they go Giants, Jets, bye week, Washington, Giants, Washington, Cowboys.
Now remember that Cowboys game. By the time they get to that Cowboys game, the Cowboys are probably going to have the division locked up.
And
They
gonna
could
be
have the
so-
number
And
one
the
seed
number
locked
one
up.
seed.
Right, they could have the number one seed locked up, so they could legit be playing for. You
Nothing.
could see nobody playing in that game, which could be a game that the Eagles could be needing to maybe get into that last playoff spot. You could make a case. We all knew that the back half of the schedule was going to be significantly easier than the front half.
Right.
So it makes it very easy to say, yeah, could they string?
Giants
Could
could
they-
be tough down the stretch though if they get all their offensive weapons back. They could be because not gonna lie, Daniel Jones hasn't looked that bad this year and hasn't played with all his offensive weapons. He's
That
had,
dude
I think.
sucks.
No,
That dude sucks.
I don't think he's. I don't know, man. I think with those weapons, he's all right. I do. I think he's all right.
those weapons make him significantly
I think-
better than what he
You
is.
know who I was way wrong on, which I'm really upset about? Sam Darnold fucking stinks. I was so wrong. I was like, yo, get him away from Adam Gase. He's a good quarterback. My God, he's terrible. But Carolina's another team you got to look out for. Dude, that defense is scary. And then you get a guy in Cam Newton who can come in on like different packages, throw touchdowns, run it in on the goal line. And you
Between
can still
him and
run.
PJ
PJ
Walker.
Walker was super efficient yesterday.
Yep, you could
Like,
have a
dude,
could have
I
a
like
1-2
Carolina,
thing.
man. I like Carolina a lot.
Carolina could be the team that sleeps. That
Getting
could,
Cam Newton
be
back
your,
could be a game changer.
you
Absolute
could
game
be-
changer.
They could be a
And I-
5, 6, 7
Yeah.
wild card team that could, Rich,
And
that
I
has the
don't even-
defense to make a run.
I hated Cam Newton outside of Carolina. I
Yep.
love him back in Carolina.
So
when
do I.
saw how hype he was and how everybody
I'm
was
back.
so excited, and everybody
That
was
was
so
great.
excited to have him back, I was happy because he did not. fit.
He's the greatest quarterback in
I hate when
franchise
people go to
history.
New England. I hate when people go to New England. I hate it.
Everybody hates New England.
because you just hate New England. Then he.
I
leaves.
like Tampa
He
Tom
flies
better than I ever
personality
like New
for
England Brady.
Oh,
Oh,
Tampa
100%.
Tom's great. Tampa Tom's great.
Tampa Tom is great. But like Cam Newton is the great, I know people will be like, oh, Jake Delhomme. Cool.
What?
Cam Newton is the greatest quarterback in that franchise's history.
Who would ever say Jake Delhomme?
People who like the crack cane.
Like, this is my Bobby De Niro face.
Like what?
Like what?
I also just wanted to make a Jake Delhomme reference.
Talking to me? Fucking
I mean,
sidearm Jake the
talking
Snake.
to me.
Fuck him. Stinks.
Jake
You could
Delhomme.
never convince me that listen, I know that both of those guys took the Panthers to a Super Bowl,
Correct.
but you could never put
Rich
their
Gannon took the Raiders to a Super Bowl.
right. Trent Dilfer took the
Brad Johnson.
Yeah.
like the
Do we want to play? Do we want to play totally
Trent Dilfer.
irrelevant quarterback?
Dilfer.
Let's play totally
Listen.
irrelevant quarterback, shall we?
Jake Delhomme never even sniffed.
Cam
An
Newton's
MVP.
job.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
got
list of guys
paid.
that have gone to the Super Bowl.
And got paid.
But listen, if they win this weekend though,
Jimmy
Colin
Garoppolo.
Kaepernick.
Sorry.
Colin Kaepernick.
And Jimmy Garoppolo.
yeah,
I like.
Peyton Man. I'm just kidding.
All right, Jason dropped one there. That'd
Mark
be the
Rippon.
third string quarterback's daddy, Mark Rippon. Ripon,
All
the
right.
third string quarterback for the Broncos, his daddy. Paul had a Jake Delhomme jersey. What?
That's so random.
why?
As I'm wearing, I'm giving him jersey shame as I'm wearing a John Bon Jovi Soul jersey.
That's still less random than a Jake Delhomme jersey.
Ron Jaworski. We didn't even play that part of the game. We're playing totally irrelevant quarterback. Ron Jaworski was not an incredible quarterback. He did the job. But that team got there because of, Wilbur Montgomery and Mike Quick and
How
all those.
about Carson Wentz?
Yeah,
He didn't get them to the Super Bowl.
No,
He got them to the playoffs, but not the Super Bowl. Playoffs.
Let's see who else. Ooh, Rex Grossman. Rex Grossman on that Bears.
To continue Jason's inappropriate comment train,
What are you talking about? I'm so.
he's talking about the Bon Jovi album, which is great. But if you take it out of context,
I'm literally thinking Girls Gone Wild. But
but if you take it out of context,
13-year-old Rich on 11 o'clock HBO on Thursday nights was just like, real sex, slippery when wet. I remember that.
right? But if you take it out of context, it's this comment all over again.
oh my god.
Oh, Jason, save it for Thursday night at 11 o'clock, bud.
Oh my god. Voorhees after dark. Your
balls
will thank you.
With Jason. Oh, you got your nipples pierced. Well, all right.
I've got nipples, Greg.
You milk me? Milk me? Milk me? Nip, 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 nip.
Oh my god, this show's going off the rails so much. But
Yeah.
it should. It should. I'm
That's
here
my
for it. I
time.
appreciate it. And again, we could talk about all the other stuff. We have, an endless supply of time. We could talk about Ben Simmons never coming back, but the Sixers are still thriving. We could talk about the goalie controversy, but Carter Hart's still the guy. Oh, Don, your head turned. You're like,
There's no there's no goalie controversy here.
it's Philadelphia. There has to be.
No, listen, Carter Hart will always be the quarterback of that team.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. Martin
No.
Jones is will never be on the same level. I think you saw that on Saturday night.
Yo,
When
he
they
put up a
quit.
huge dud on Saturday.
I'm not surprised. They played really well to get that win in Carolina, and then flew and played a back-to-back in a different city. Now listen, Dallas sucks, but
Yeah.
Carter Hart is always going to be, and he's playing lights out. Like he is playing really incredible. I think you're seeing the direct correlation between the offseason moves that they made to shore up that blue line and how much stress that takes off him to not feel like he has to stand on his head all the time.
Yeah. I
as
like
far
the defensive guys that they brought in are definitely doing a better job
yeah.
than the defense he had last year. They're scoring a little better. But as what's going to end up happening is we're always looking at the other guy.
But here's
They
the
are.
thing, though, Chip. The
Ooh,
other
breaking
guy,
news.
the other
Go
guy
ahead.
is always the other guy. Like Martin Jones will always be the other guy. Martin Jones will never be the guy. What's your breaking news?
Breaking news. Breaking news. The Philadelphia 76ers have fined Ben Simmons for failing to travel on their 6-game road trip.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Whatever.
It's not that much of a breaking news. They basically said, you're not doing what we need you to do. This mental health thing is a sham. So Shams just reported that they fined him.
Listen, my whole thing, if it is what he says it is, then advocate for yourself. Here's where I know where I stand with it is that if it were about the mental health, the fines would be insignificant. Because he would say, hey, listen, I'm trying to get my mental health ready. I'm trying to get it in the right spot.
Yeah.
But
It would
he's
be
not
more of a
coming out and saying
communication,
that.
right?
Right.
It's he wants a trade. He wants a trade. He wants a trade, and he's not going to play here again.
Okay.
So he found
But-
his agent wrote the contract. He wrote the CBA that said,
Well, his
if
agent
you
wrote the
claim
CBA.
mental health, then we can't punish you.
But here's
So
the
he
thing,
went,
though. If
"Oh,
you claim mental health without it being mental health, then it becomes very evident that it's not. And when you claim that that's what that is, I have a very hard time believing the sincerity of what you're saying when all of the actions and all of your other behaviors and everything else about what you're doing says, I just want to get paid.
Great.
And speaking of just getting paid, I'm gonna wrap it and do the sponsorship thing. Because I got to go to bed. I got to teach the children tomorrow.
I imagine.
You know what I mean? So this has been Chips and Dish. This has been the special 1-year anniversary show. I brought on two of my friends, to come hang out with me. Don and Rich, man, I appreciate you. You want to talk about Drunk on Broad a little bit? Do your thing. What are you guys doing over there at the Drunk on Broad Empire?
So we've kind of gone through a little bit of, I guess you would call it a little bit of a rebranding. We're going to start doing shorter, more sports-specific shows. Some of them are going to be live like this. Some of them are going to be recorded and released. We're just excited to kind of not branch off, but kind of really hit those sports-specific clients that want just to listen to 20 minutes of the Eagles or just to listen to a half hour of the Sixers. Our YouTube channel is up and running. The highlight the little 2-minute highlight packages that we're putting together are on there as well. We're just trying to give people what they want, trying to give people the content that they need.
Yeah, and then we're still going to do our Drunk on Broad show. So once a month, we're all get together and just do kind of like what you're doing, just whatever we want to talk about, whatever anybody wants to talk about, we're going to do. We want to be more. An hour is a long time to talk.
It is.
It's a long time. Chip knows. Chip knows. We've been doing it for an hour and 13 minutes. It's a long time to talk. And for us, we thrive on interactions. We don't get as many interactions, especially because of Twitter being down and
Right.
people knowing that. So they just kind of like, oh, you're not interacting with me. I'm
You're not
posting
putting my comment up.
It's like, oh, well, I guess we're not friends. And I'm like, nah, it's not it. It's just like, we can't see it. So just trying to be a little more content specific, cutting it down, but keeping the same amount of content, just being able to disperse it at different times. That's what we're going to start doing. So it's going to be great. Chip, thanks for having us, man. Congrats on
Dude,
this.
you guys,
Thank you.
So
you
much
guys are
fun.
awesome.
I had a great time.
We laughed. We cried.
I definitely cried.
We cried laughing.
Just those D's, man. Just Jason and those D's.
Just throwing the D's on it.
Throwing the D's on.
Well, that's why we were crying, because they were slippery when wet. They were moist. Oh God, that was so wrong. And let's pay the
felt
bills
so
real
well.
quick. So again, we've done this every single Monday night for a year now. And again, I appreciate all you guys tuning in. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the viewership. It means the world. I enjoy doing this every Monday. I look forward to it. And on to year 2 now. So lots of great sponsors. All of the links are in the bio. So make sure you are checking out Statement Games. They are a fun, free twist on fantasy sports. That's, one of the reasons why I beat the hell out of Don this week in fantasy, but lost everywhere else. So that's cool. AATsportsnetwork.com, our shop. Make sure you are supporting our small business because, we can't do this without you. We want to continue doing all these great things and putting up all this great material. La Terrain luxury watches. Use code AATBirds for 10% off at checkout. We got
watch.
Funk. What's that?
Get your watch. Get your watch.
It's time. It's time. Stop going on TikTok and get yourself a new TikTok. Funk. Jesus Christ. Funkbrewing.com, the official brewery of AAT Birds. And of course, Manscaped.com is partnered with AAT Birds. Use the code AAT Birds for 20% off and free shipping at checkout.
Your balls will thank you.
It's the creepiest thing I do, and I know it. We are about to debut the brand new Manscaped commercial. I wrote the script. I executed the script. It is disturbing in every single way. I hope you're ready to have yourselves an eargasm because it's about to come all up in your ear holes. We're out of beer.
Reminds me of junior college.
Hey, we're out of beer, so we're out of here. We'll catch you on the flippity flip. Go Birds. We'll see you tomorrow night for Burning Bridges and then some. Intern Paul, play that new commercial.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. The season of giving is upon us, and Manscaped is getting into the holiday spirit. Go to manscaped.com and use the code AATBirds for 20% off and free shipping on all your holiday gifties. To help get you into the spirit, we rewrote some of your favorite holiday songs to remind you of all their great products. Shave your balls with gifts from Manscaped. Fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be smoother. Fa la 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 la. Buy some gifts today from Manscaped.com. 2 free gifts for you from Manscaped.com. Grooming around your Christmas tree with the Lawnmower 4.0. Your jingle balls need some fresh grooming, and it's the only way to go. Smoother balls. Smoother balls. Use Manscaped Crop Exfoliator. Grandpa needs to trim his ears and nose hairs, 'cause he can't hear or smell us anymore. You can say he could just use a razor, but the Weed Whacker 2 is the way to go. For the Jewish friends in your life, Manscaped, 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 shave your balls today, and when they're dry and ready, a smooth menorah you can play. I got Manscaped's brand new body wash. Used it on my mistletoe last night. Also used the 2-in-1 shampoo conditioner just for fun. I washed and scrubbed everywhere. Now the smell's improved a ton. Put in your order at manscaped.com today and have a great gift to give this holiday season. Use the code AATBirds at checkout for 20% and free shipping. That's AATBirds at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Have a holly jolly ball a day this winter with Manscaped.